Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Whalenerds podcast. This is episode 134. My name is Slater, and I'm here with Caitlin.
Hello, and we have a special guest this week. We are joined by Belén García Ovide, and she's calling in from Iceland. We're so excited to have her on. Belén is a marine biologist, a wildlife guide, and an experienced sailor. Right now, she's currently based in Iceland, and she did receive her master's in coastal and marine management, where she studied whale watching boat noise and the effect of on humpback whales. She's worked on several traditional sailing ships, exploring some of the most remote areas in the world in the North and South Pole, and gathering relevant scientific data and leading citizen science programs. In 2017, she started working as a wildlife guide during whale watching tours and Arctic sailing expeditions for North Sailing, and later as an environmental advisor. And then in 2019, she founded Ocean Missions, where through a combination of research, citizen science, education, and traditional sailing, her mission is to inspire the world to take direct actions to protect the planet. She focuses on the fields of plastic pollution, sustainability, and ocean protection. Belén is also a PhD candidate for eWhale, a project through the University of Iceland, and her aim is to integrate the emerging eDNA and citizen science toolkits into the creation of a marine protection plan in Iceland. She's also a fellow at the Safina Center. That's how I know her. And so we're so excited to have you on. So welcome.
Thank you very much, guys. I'm very excited to be here with you also.
Yes.
Did you guys meet in person before?
No.
No.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if she went to that event.
Oh, no, the gala last year. No, you just sent in a video.
No, but I heard it was amazing, right? Like it was very emotional.
Yes.
Very
yeah,
inspiring.
it was really cool. I mean, I don't know how to explain it. A lot of it was the benefactors of the Safina Center. And I don't know, I didn't think I was that cool, but afterwards, like 15 different people came up and wanted to talk to me and tell me their story about a whale. And I was like, oh, okay.
You're cool.
So yeah,
That's
it was awesome. And the other fellows at the center are incredible. So it was pretty cool to be among such a great group of people.
Right? Yeah. It's fascinating to see what people is doing, and it's so cool that we are like all in one different part of the planet and all trying to do like so cool stuff. And I wish we could like do a project together. We have to actually do something like that. We should suggest that to the Safina Center.
Yeah, that would be pretty amazing. Because everyone's working in their little portion of the world for the same thing. Is there a way we can just network it all?
Yeah,
that would be awesome.
You got to do it.
Yeah, we have a project.
World project.
We just didn't start it even. It's the first minute and we have already an amazing project.
There you go.
Oh, man. Okay, so let's just talk a little bit about kind of your background before we get into what you're working on now. So how did you get started in the marine field?
That's just I don't even know. Like
that's how I feel too.
Because it's funny because I come from Madrid in Spain. It's the capital, so it's just the center of Spain. There is no ocean or anything, and every time like people ask me this, I'm like, I just don't know where it came from, but it was just so powerful and deep inside me. Like there was a thrive. There was something telling me that I have to explore the oceans, and that I've been always really passionate about the ocean, and watching documentaries at home, David Attenborough and anything really, and just loving it, like wondering and what is in there. It's such a mysterious place. It's a vast, it's powerful, it's wild, it's everything, no? And it has all these elements that are fascinating to me. And I remember, like, my mom was always telling me that I was very strange. Like, I was behaving strange, and I was behaving like an animal all the time. So I don't know, it just it was inside me. Like, I had to look for this. What is this? No. And so when I was a little bit older, I had the chance to go to the university. I was pretty frustrated with the world in general. I always thought that life is beautiful, but we make it very complicated. and unfair like human beings. So I never understood really the purpose of humanity, um, let's say. So I was just very frustrated with all this, and like I studied biology first, and I think that was really cool because you somehow understand life from all different perspectives, and that was really helpful for me, like to understand what really matters and where do we belong, what are we doing here, what might be our role, no, within among other species.
Mm-hmm.
So that was kind of cool, and then yeah, I just had the chance to go like 1 year to try to do marine biology and specialized in that field. And I went to the Canary Islands, and there's an archipelago in the west of Africa. And then I did my after a year there. I had the chance to start diving and really explore the oceans for the first time. And I just realized this is what I was meant to do. And now I know myself. I am alive. It was just like falling in love really suddenly with such a big thing. And since then, I think I've been really pursuing like something connected to the ocean and just trying to understand more and help to protect this protect this and also make people feel what I feel when I am in the ocean or I work with the ocean.
Awesome. So you did most of your first part of university in Spain, right?
Yes, I did
Yeah.
3 years and then 2 years in the Canaries, and then I finished the degree, so it was 5 years. And then I moved to I was in Denmark actually for half a year, sorry. The purpose was to learn English because in Spain we are very bad at learning English in the school. So I said to myself, I have to go somewhere and learn and just be exposed to this and just to face it. And I was at the same time doing my internship there on harbor porpoises
Mm.
in a semi-captivity environment in Kereminde. There is like this research center there, and I was there like studying harbor porpoises in this environment. It was kind of interesting experience, but at the end of it, I realized that maybe this is not what I wanna do, because I think I'm missing the best part, which is just see these animals in the wild nature and really to understand them. You need to go there and see it with your eyes, like what is for real, no? What are these animals doing for real in our environment? And that is, I think, why I decided to try out the whale watching, just to give it a try and see how I feel and how to experience the whales from other point of view. I had like previous experience with whales, studying whales in the Canary Islands as well, doing some citizen science projects and research on bottlenose whales. And then I started working as a whale watching guide a little bit in Denmark. I went to like a little fjord there and I found a sailboat and I was like, hey, can I help? And this kind of got me in, and started talking about purposes. And then I moved to Iceland, and somehow I stayed here linked to this part of the planet for many years later.
So when you did your master's degree, was that when you were in the Canary Islands?
No, I did it in Iceland when I moved. So I
Oh,
moved
okay.
to Iceland, and then I started working as a whale watching guide in Húsavík. And I was working for like 2014 and 2015, and then I decided to do the masters. There is a very small university here in the West Fjords. They only have one or two programs, one or two schools, group of people, and they teach coastal and marine management. And I was very interested in this master because I felt like I know a lot about the ocean now, but now I just need to know what can I do about it and how can I, what I need the tools to save the oceans. And so this master is a little bit about, more practical, no? And they teach you about this management point of view, and that's very useful when you want to do like I wanted, no, to try to do something about it. And so yeah, I did my master's there. And then also, like, I had this, I was wondering when I was working as a whale watching guide, this feels okay, but still I'm not happy because I don't know if we are impacting the whales or not. And I know there's been some people studying like whale behavior before in Usavik and from the boats, looking at at the whales from the ships, but nobody has been looking at what's happening underwater when the whale goes for a dive, no? And that was a little bit my question, looking at the noise from the whale watching boats and potential effects on the humpback whales in this case. But also because in my case I put like tags on the animals, so you could actually monitor like how deep the whale is diving, how fast is the whale feeding, because we could actually see the patterns when the whale opens the mouth and then the speed going like full speed, then stop suddenly, because of course the baleen whales, they have the huge mouth, no? So it was super cool to be able to see this. We don't see it, but like, you know, you can understand that the whale is actually doing that, and that was pretty cool. But that is a reason why I also went for the master, because I knew I had to do a thesis project, and I really wanted to know how much are we impacting, or if there is any effect, if the whales, they really care about our presence, if they are affected by noise and things like that.
So what was your
Yeah,
conclusion?
I was gonna say, what did you come up with?
Well, what I came up with is that many people told me, Belén, this is for a PhD. You know, you went too far with the thesis, and you. It was very complicated because, of course, I didn't have much knowledge about this, and it was a very tedious research, since there's a lot of like parameters to take in account, and you are, you know, the sensors, they give you data every second, and then you have to deal with huge databases to coordinate all these sensors and parameters together in order to understand what's going on. So that was really hard, but at the end I was very happy. I managed to do the thesis and get some answers, and we could see that the whales were definitely changing some behaviors. So there was less feeding behaviors from the animals that were tagged, and if you compare them when there was no noise, and they were diving deeper as well when they were exposed to high noise intensity. So I sort of like divided the noise that I was hearing in the hydrophones in categories, levels, like low, medium, and high, and then I could like interpret a little bit the results. So we saw some answers, or some, you know, potential changes of behavior, which can indicate, of course, that noise is important to consider. But of course, the number of boats, in my opinion, is also something that it is very important, because, as you probably know, it's not the same to have one boat than 7 boats around a whale. And I think the whales, at least here, we see that they get more confused when there is more boats around, and that makes total sense, right? Like they cannot predict where are we going, so they get therefore stressed because they don't know where they have to go. No, it's a little bit. I think you see a lot also by observing for many years, you know, the behavior of the whales.
And were the whales the first thing that drew you to Iceland?
Sorry?
Were the whales the first thing that drew you to Iceland?
Yes, because I was applying as a whale watching guide in different areas. I tried just the first thing that came in Google. It was Norway and then Iceland. I didn't even know exactly where Iceland was at that time. So now everybody talks about Iceland, but at that time it was still quite unknown for Spanish people. Like nobody was talking about Iceland, so I even had to like look at the map. Wait, where is this island? Jesus, is there? Okay, it's cool. I go, and so it was that they hired me, you know, here in Iceland. So I just said, okay, I'm just going wherever. Doesn't matter. I just check.
And are you still working for the North Sailing Company now?
Yeah, so actually I started with another company at the beginning for 3 years. But then I was really fascinated about the wooden boats and especially the
Yeah.
wooden sailboats that they have in North Sailing. And somehow when, I got so much into whales and the ocean, of course you get into sailing. I mean, there is no question. You're gonna love sailing if you like to be in the ocean, no? And so I also developed like a big passion for the sailing world, but not just to be at sea, but just the actual, sailing and especially traditional sailing through North Sailing. So I started working with them because I just wanted to learn. Like I just saw those boats and I was like, Jesus, it's just so beautiful. I want to know how to handle the ropes and be able to feel the wind in the sails and it feels so different somehow to be in this type of boats. Somehow you're just like traveling in the past, like there is no much modern technology. You need the hand power. It's very organic to be sailing on this type of ship. So, and they are not big, so they are just for a few, group of people going out, and it just feels very natural and very connected to the environment. So, yeah. So I started working for North Sailing in 2017.
So
That's
how
awesome.
many people do you take on the boat? Like 40? Less than 40?
Well, I mean, North Sailing is actually a company. They are pioneers in whale watching here in Usavik since 1995, but they have been like getting more and more boats. The purpose at the beginning was to restore actually the wooden boats. So it was not even like meant to be a whale watching company at the beginning. And I think that's very beautiful because we had in history this time where steel boats started to become way more popular than wooden boats, and they started to be replacing the wooden boats. And that was also happening here because it's simply easier to have steel boats, less maintenance, and so on. But then we are also um, um, getting rid of the traditions, and that's not good. So what the company wanted to do was to just give them a new life, and instead of just being there until they die, letting them die, they just wanted to use them for just to keep them alive. And then when they got like more than 3 or 4 boats, they realized, okay, and now what are we gonna do? Like we just need to give them a new purpose. And then is when they decided to start the whale watching, no? And I think that's an interesting value there that I really like because it's there is a story, there is a beautiful story behind the company. Nowadays they have 12 boats, so it's getting
wow.
like
Yeah.
many boats. I think we definitely reached the limits of the boats. But it's also, among these boats, they have these sailing boats. They have 4 schooners, well, 3 schooners now. And these boats, they are also doing these sailing expeditions in Greenland, as well as doing whale watching in this area where we are based in Usavik.
So, and it seems like is a company split into two with all those boats? Is there like some in the fjord and some out in Husavik?
Yes, so the motorboats, they stay here doing whale watching during the season, and the schooners, they go to Greenland. There's 3 boats that go to Greenland every summer.
Oh, cool.
And so they sail from Iceland to Greenland?
Yes, they sail from Iceland to
Ooh, that'd be
Greenland.
fun.
It's 2 days sailing, but it's only the crew that we sail the boats, and then the group of people it's actually flying to the
Okay.
Skolvison
So you pick the
fjords
people up there.
in East Greenland. Yeah.
Dang. Have you sailed across?
Yeah. Yes,
Yeah.
that's kind of fun. Yeah.
It's kind of
Cool.
fun.
So overall, your experience like whale watching in Iceland, it's a country that still participates in whaling. Well, hopefully not for much longer, but like, how do you talk about that with people on the boat? Like, do you ever see the whaling ships when you're out there? Like, it's kind of a tough balance.
Yes. Yes, I know it's crazy to see how much whale watching has been increasing and so fast through the years here, and then at the same time we're still dealing with this. It's a difficult topic to also talk, because it's very shocking for people. It was not so shocking actually, so people were actually okay with that at the beginning, but now there is a lot of pressure and more education. I really feel people is way more aware on whales, and most of them are really against this. And interestingly enough, so there is only one guy that is just really pushing for this practice to happen, and he's kind of has like an influence in a politician, so that's why he's still like trying to get away with this practice. And somehow it's been, so it's more like a political issue, I think, with this specific person and his company, and it's really going against Icelanders and against everybody really. So hopefully it will start, the license, it's supposed to end now in 2014, so hopefully this will be last year that they are hunting, but it's definitely something outrageous. Like, it's difficult to digest for many people.
Yeah.
And we don't see the whaling happening at the same time with the whale watching. So they focus on the whaling in the west part,
Okay.
like it's more to the capital region. And
That's what I
I
thought.
heard some stories of overlapping between whale watching companies there and seeing the boats. I'm not sure if this is still happening though, because there was also a lot of complaints. So I think they extended
Can you imagine?
the area where they cannot hunt. So they have to go like really far offshore to get the animals.
Yeah, which makes it more expensive for them also.
Yeah. And I think, they have like a license to hunt like 150 fin whales or something. I mean, it sounds to me very crazy, because considering like all these pressures that we already have for the animals and this stupidity, and then thinking that, okay, why are we doing this? And it's just because of, I guess in our case, it's just because of pride of this guy, like he feels like it's a national thing or something. Which feels stupid, but then what's happened is like the meat is also sold for other countries, so it's not even staying here anymore, it's just going to Japan.
I've heard, when I was in Iceland, the family told me that pretty much like the Icelandic people don't eat whale really, like for the most part. Either the only people that might eat it are tourists or it's being shipped off.
And it's been eaten by tourists because, again, we need to, again, it's money driven, like most of things. And Icelanders, they're just like, okay, where can I get money? And then sometimes they just don't even think. And there has been a lot of pressure in the restaurants also. And I think it's getting really low, actually, like the meat you can see in supermarkets and in restaurants.
It's not as available anymore.
It's not as much as it's going really, like there has been really a lot of pressure, and it's really getting less and less visible, but definitely still happening. And we are all really hoping that it ends, because we also know that protesting and like going against this person, it also feeds him with more anger. It's a bit complicated, and especially when it comes into politics, there's very little you can. But there is a lot of like campaigns and public outreach, movement and pressure internationally. So we really hope it's gonna end, because it doesn't make any sense.
Well, we're hopeful that it ends too, because we like having our whales in the ocean. They
of
do
course.
more for us there.
And I do really feel it in the tourists that it's like, people is really conscious about this now.
Good.
It's funny to me that we can't realize that, like, or they do and they just don't care. But how whale watching just makes way more money. Like an alive whale makes so much more money.
Well, and an alive whale does so much more for our environment, which also ends up making more money, right? Like they take care of the ecosystem and the marine food web. And
well, that's too much. We're going too far. We're not gonna be able to explain all of that.
But still, like, you know, like the whales, they're a high value to the ocean when they're alive and doing their thing.
Yep.
Yes, of course they are. And we are doing, you know, this is one of the things we are really trying to emphasize here through ocean missions, like this education and these messages about the importance of the oceans and the importance of the whales, and just emphasize that we have here a paradise that is, you know, in its edge, you know, it's just so fragile, you know, it's very powerful and very fragile at the same time. And just I also tend to tell people that here that I come from the Canary Islands, and over there I could see how bad they were treating such paradise place as well, no? So volcanic islands, absolutely beautiful, whales everywhere, and we've seen like how much damage can be done by mass tourism and money driven, you know, by just like cruise ships and big hotels and big harbors, and not taking in consideration the values of the ecosystem, the coastal ecosystems and the whales. And we are paying it now, you know. Now, I mean, there is like loss of ecosystems, entire ecosystems of seaweed. Marine turtles have disappeared from their areas where they used to come, and like this many things, you know, collisions with both sides. It's like, before that happened here, I just want to go a step ahead and say, hey, I've seen this before. Don't let mass tourism rule, and you know, the eagerness of people making business and the companies just go there, because it's very dangerous, you know.
Yes. Yeah. Luckily, Iceland is a place where you can still be ahead of it. A lot of other places, like I work in the Hawaiian Islands in the winter, and we see a lot of the same things. I mean, there's a lot of effort to protect the environment, but there's also just a lot of people come to visit the islands, and there's not infrastructure for trash and recycling. And, you know, it's just, it's tough. So speaking of ocean mission, so how did you start it, or like where, you know, you had this passion and you wanted something to do outside of your day job. So what led you to start ocean missions, and do you want to talk a little bit about like what you guys do?
Yeah, sure. So, well, I guess again this project came from the frustration. I'm like maybe, I don't know, I just cared too much that sometimes it just affects me also too much, and then sometimes you have these outcomes that can be in many forms. In this case it was a positive thing, of course, but it's funny that it came because the idea came because I was very frustrated. I was like feeling against the current, like it's never enough what I try to do or what I try to educate or to transmit, you know, in my talks in the whale watching boat. Like it's never enough. Like this is a feeling that I have often. And of course we don't have to let this feeling, you know, dominate yourself, because you can get easily lost and very depressed. But you have to use it for a good purpose, for a good thing. And that's what I used. I think what I did, I think I just said, what can I do next? And I cannot do it alone, but I'm gonna do it. Then it's not gonna be me, it's gonna be something, some concept, let's just put it in shape, no? And so basically I said, where I am, what do I know, and how can I use it to make an impact? And that's what I did. Like I was sailing a lot. I've been sailing a lot. I know about sailing experiences and traditional ships, adventures. I know about whales, and I've been educating. So let's just combine all these things together and try to do something. And I've been also doing research, right? So it was like, I'm just gonna put all together what I know, what I can do, and then get people with me on the team. And I had this idea. I said, okay, I'm in Usavik. I have access to these amazing ships. Now I know how they work. I have access to the whale watching companies here, and I am in Usavik, where there is a research center, there is a whale museum. It's the best place perhaps to aim for something like this, like a conservation project. And there was nothing done. Like, there is almost no NGOs here about the ocean, or perhaps we're even the first one. There is some NGOs, but they're like land-based or focused on some other concepts. But for the ocean, there was nothing. So I think we created this because there was also a need to do efforts in conservation, also conservation in Iceland, and the need of educating and the need for research. So this is how all started in 2019. It was officially established in Húsavík, and it's I just talked to some of my friends that I know they've been here for many years as well, or they are Icelanders, and they just came together for making this project, no? And so that's how it started. And so what we do is basically combining like education and research and sailing to inspire people to take direct actions to protect the oceans. And that's why we have like different projects, and we have the sailing expeditions with schooner Opal, and that is of course one of the North sailing boats that I've been working mainly in Húsavík, but also in Greenland. And it's such a nice platform because it's also a hybrid boat, so you can actually choose if you want to use the normal engine or if you use the batteries. So it's can be completely zero emissions, and I think that is also very nice to transmit the message that we care about the planet and about the oceans and the noise pollution and all these things. So it's definitely like a nice setup that we have here, and many resources that we can use to put the messages out there. And through the expeditions, we are doing science. We are collecting data on whales, seabirds, and plastic pollution. And right now, we are currently monitoring microplastic pollution in Icelandic waters for the first time. Nobody has done it before, and we are now like finally publishing the first manuscripts on this field for Iceland, among other things. So
that's awesome.
That's super cool. How many people are on your team?
Well, fixed people, we are like 4.
Nice.
And then we are just really hard workers, And then we have, of course, many volunteers, especially that join us on the cleanups that we have. First, we have like cleanup coordinator, and she's really in charge of like gathering all these people together and just let's go clean up, and I think that's pretty cool. So we've had like last year more than 300 volunteers joining us for cleanups in the northeast of Iceland. But the pure work, like the whole thing, like it's mainly done by 3 or 4 people here in Iceland.
That's amazing.
Awesome.
And it's the same people that goes in the expedition. So in the expeditions we have so we are all sailors and scientists joining the boats, and we are the ones the crew, but also the teachers and the ones that are making the program on board. And we basically, it's a citizen science program, and we are trying that people that join us, they feel like they can also participate and do something that is good for them to learn, but also good for the planet and the oceans. so that they feel involved, because this is how I felt before. Like, it's never enough. I want to do something, I don't know what to do. So this is also like a way to tell them, yes, you can join us, because this way, you know, even if you are not a scientist, you can just be the most random person in the world. But by joining this type of expeditions, it's a lot you get with you. It's such a, you know, like bulk of knowledge, scientific knowledge, putting your hands in science, helping with research, getting out there in nature in all kinds of weather conditions, being in a small boat with other people that are completely different than you, expose yourself, get out of your comfort zone. So it's not only about what you learn about science, but also here, like the, you know, values that are important to inspire many people that are maybe a little bit, you know, lacking energy for keeping their lives, especially when you are frustrated about the environment.
Yeah, very empowering.
Yeah.
That's great.
So you are also working on your PhD, right? So you're doing...
Well, that's actually very new. So me and my partner, we just bought a ship, and that's because we wanted to continue the missions with ocean missions, but maybe not only in Iceland, but go somewhere else. And we are now working on that program to see where we are going, and so what kind of missions do we want to be part of or arrange, and citizen science programs. And then I said, okay, this is like having a baby now, you know, it feels like very crazy that I'm doing this, but I always wanted to have a boat. And I think Jaime, who is my partner, and he is also in ocean missions, he has so much experience and being a captain for more than 20 years. He's been always very adventurous, and I think, you know, if we don't do it together, I don't know if it's ever gonna happen, no? So I thought it was like, yeah, let's do it, because we have this common dream. And at the same time, when we just bought the ship, and now we have to pay the ship, and it's okay, there's a lot of efforts that we have to put there, and it's a lot of commitment. Then I got the news that I was getting a fund for a PhD project that I applied like 2 years ago. So I even forgot about this, and then suddenly it came like, hey, by the way, this has been funded, and now you're gonna start a PhD. I'm like, what?
Now you have two things going on.
Oh no, two big things going on.
So that was a little bit crazy. I just got this news like a month ago or something.
Oh wow.
And I'm still trying to see if I can do this. But I think I'm confident that if I can work on this part-time, it will be really good, because it could be also done through ocean missions, and it's a little bit all connected, really, because the PhD is about also it focuses on studying like marine mammals and whales in the ocean, like we're using very innovative techniques, that is this environmental DNA. And basically, by taking some samples of water, you are able to like know how many species have been in these waters recently, no? And you can look into whales, but you can look into the whole trophic web. So it's really like a very interesting tool that it hopefully brings light to many questions that we have about the oceans, and I'm very excited to start working on this. We have a really amazing team of experts involved on this. This is a project that is called eWhale, and there, you know, there's like 7 countries involved, so it's like a international project. And there are some other PhD students, and it's definitely very exciting, and we are all like, oh my god, this is happening. And so I'm just have to present my proposal draft now to the university in the next couple of weeks, so it's very new.
Ooh, good luck.
Yeah, I was
That's
gonna say good
awesome.
luck to all those.
Thank you. Yeah. And yeah, it's also the plan, no, that we can maybe like take samples from the boats and contribute to this research. So that's also one. That's what I mean. Like it looks like everything is kind of connected, you know. So we could use it also for citizen science and education and yeah, so that it all makes sense.
That'd be cool. Get them all to merge together.
Yeah.
So Iceland is a hope spot in collaboration with Mission Blue. What does this entail?
Well, this is one of the projects we've been working on with Ocean Missions the last 2 years. It was a beautiful thing to do. I was just doing my job. I was just working on a whale watching tour, and there was this girl that came to me like 3 years ago saying, do you mind if I interview you? You know, like I'm looking for like marine biologist. She was writing a book about the ocean conservation. She's called Liz Cunningham. I don't know if you even maybe know her.
Yes, I do know her. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
She's a wonderful person. She came to to interview a few people, and so I met her for the first time, and then she was basically fascinated about the tour, you know, the whale watching tour, about what I was explaining about the bay and the marine biodiversity and everything. And she said, Belén, you need to protect this place. You need to do something about it. This is absolutely stunning, you know, like what you have here, you have to protect it. And I'm like, yeah, thank you very much. I know, but I don't know, what can I do like about it? At that time, I still, I think I was starting with Ocean Missions, so it was everything very new. But she suggested, like, did you hear about these hotspots? And I'm like, yes, I heard about them. I think this could be a great hotspot. And I said, you are crazy. I mean, you are talking about Sylvia Earle here. Like, what do you mean? I mean, this girl is like, I cry every time I see her because I mean, she is the god, no? Like, I cannot
She
get
is.
involved there. Like, that's crazy. Like, what are you talking about? And then she goes and said, well, actually, I know her because I am part of the Mission Blue, and it's not the group, but it's like a advisor or something. Somehow she's involved. And I said, what? And then I said, okay, yeah, let me in, of course. I mean, just whatever it takes, I'm all in. And of course, this will be awesome. And that's how it started, no? Like meeting key people on the way. And so it's been a long process of gathering scientific facts to support, to highlight this area as an important area for biodiversity. So we created like a big document with all these points, all based on research. Together with local stakeholders, we created like a group of partners that were supporting this initiative, and we sent an application to Mission Blue. They have been really, really supportive since the beginning, because this is the first hotspot in Iceland, and of course, for them, it was also really meaningful, and for us, of course. So it was like a really inspiring thing, the whole thing, you know, there's great people there in Mission Blue, that it's great to work with. You always want more and more, no? When you are working with these like-minded people, it's just everything is possible, no? And so it happened, and now it was declared officially last year in November or December, and this year then is when we have a promotion year. So we are focusing now on creating like a program here where we are going to have different events with the Whale Museum. We are going to have a conference. We are actually even working already on next steps to create a marine protected area in Iceland Bay, which is here in Osai, because there has been some efforts before, so we just need to like get everything together and push and be all coordinated and make sure everybody's on board. So now it's a lot of like gatherings and meetings with local municipalities and stakeholders, and we are going to present a plan for the ministry hopefully this month, and hopefully we will have like a confirmation for starting a pilot MPA project here in Skjolvanni. And since we don't have almost marine protected areas, like less than 1% of Icelandic waters are protected, we are also working with Coast, which is based in Scotland, and they are providing us with the knowledge because they've been working on marine protected areas for many years. And we basically don't have here the platforms, we don't have the bodies that are in charge of this. So we need to learn a lot also from everybody, and so we are open to learn and to listen and to get the best advice and hopefully the best ways of creating this marine protected area. And that's gonna happen. And we also have like an expedition that is launched by Ocean Missions, just specifically in the Hope Spot area, which is up to Grimsey, which is reaching the Arctic Circle. And we are inviting like everyone to come and be part of this, because it's going to be really amazing to see to use this momentum that we're creating of just highlighting this area for protection and stop all the boats and stop the traffic, or like at least put some regulations on that, so that it doesn't get too crazy, and educating everyone. So it's exciting times now here, and I hope that we still have few spaces left for the Hope expedition, and so hopefully we can just fill out those spaces and let's go sailing. It's gonna be amazing. We're gonna have TV and like special photographers and all kinds of media attention, hopefully. Together with Mission Blue also
awesome.
supporting this initiative. So
so that's cool. So Hope Spot basically helps highlight an area that needs to be protected, and then they help with eventually trying to create it as an MPA, right? A marine protected area.
Totally.
Totally. That's cool.
So you guys get to define the terms of what the MPA will be with the government and with the local community.
So the idea is, because of course the Hope Spot doesn't have legal binding, so it's just like a recognition of an area, right, internationally. So then the next step is to and now what? How are we gonna react like Icelanders? How are we gonna work with this? And yes, next step is that's why we are proposing this to the government, the Ministry of Environment, so that we can start making this pilot project. And that pilot project will involve like a discussion on what are the threats, what is more important, what needs to be prioritized, and how can we bring measurements to make sure that we are going to have a sustainable future here, basically. And that's going to be a lot of like stakeholder involvement and researchers, and hopefully like have a fix, like some decision making already at the end of the year. So hopefully next year, or maybe earlier, I don't know. I mean, hopefully earlier, because there are some things that really need to be regulated. For example, one of the biggest threats we are having now is how fast things are happening and the lack of regulations for industrial projects. So the tourism is something that is increasing very fast, and therefore there is a lot of pressure on the whales with so many boats. That's a fact. But also there is like recent initiatives to create like kelp harvesting projects here. And kelp harvesting is extremely sensitive because kelps are helping ocean carbon sequestration and oxygen production. So we are talking about that the climate depends on the kelp health, and therefore I think it's not a good idea to start taking the kelp from these ecosystems that are also so productive. And also they are thinking not on cutting, not on making like kelp farms, but just ripping off the kelp and just drying it and just send it somewhere outside Iceland. So it's some kind of project that we don't really want to see here. And Icelanders sometimes are just thinking about the few jobs that this can make, but not necessarily about the impacts. And it's definitely more negative things than positive in this case. And with this is like few other projects and the industrial level that are absolutely not, you know, the best thing to do here. And again, because we have this small town here with such an incredible setup with the museum and the companies and the researchers and everybody like so well focused. I think this should be like the place that could lead an example on sustainability for other regions in Iceland. So definitely this is not a place where you want to put a cal factory or aluminium factory or sort of these things, you know.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, doesn't make sense. So that's one of the things we really would like to like emphasize on the pilot project, and to make sure that there are some regulations, and or at least that if there is an industrial project, that at least there is like a proper research that is able to say, okay, these are the impacts, you know, and because there is not enough research done.
Yeah.
And the decisions are just done like that, you know, from one day to the next one, then you have a cal factory. So that's the scary part.
So you have all the motivation, now you have to do the hard part, making all the rules and listening to everybody's side of the story. And this is the hard part comes next.
Oh, it'll all be worth it in the end.
Yeah, it's incredible. So how can people support the work for the Hope Spot? The trip, when does the trip go?
So the expedition for the Hope Spot, it's the 23rd to the 29th of June. And then we have another expedition in May this year, which is going to be a little bit like longest sailing, so 7 days sailing. The Hope Spot is more focused on the Hope Spot area. So it's like maybe 4 days sailing, but then there's going to be a land-based program where we are going to have conferences and a lot of research going on, and visiting like exciting places in Iceland together, and collaborate with other institutions here in the local community, so that people can also experience what are we doing here in Iceland, in Húsavík, but not only like from the boat. So there is like on the website there is like next expeditions. You can read there exactly the dates, and as I said, these expeditions are meant for people that really is looking for that opportunity to make a positive change, but they are not sure what to do, and also to inspire them to keep their own initiatives going. No, like we can help them really to shape that little idea that somebody has. They don't know how to do it, where to continue. There we can also, you know, be a source of inspiration and help. And we actually keep in contact with many of the people that have joined us on previous expeditions, and you know, some of them, like, they have really like amazing projects that they created after this experience with ocean missions. But also some other people, they already had some projects and now they got like more inspiration to keep working on those projects that are never easy to be there all the time, like fighting, no? So that's what energy. You want, like a kick of energy, and inspire everybody, inspiring each other, no, in the boat. So that's one way to support the Hope Spot. We had a campaign of signatures, but that is already closed. But there is also, like, if people comes to Iceland and they want to be involved in some daily activities, we have also like workshops going on here, like recycling the trash that we get from the beaches. We try to do like arts out of it, and there's like beautiful sculptures done by visitors that come here, or locals, and even like with the schools we do activities, taking the kids out in nature as well. And we have like different projects where people can participate, like both from the boat but also on land. So I think also one very good way to support the Hope Spot is, I don't know, if people is like into photography or video making or storytelling, or you know, something that, you know, even like graphic design, like it could be, or writing a book. It's just so many things that can be linked to the hotspot, like to bring visibility to the area and educate and transmit the message. That I think this is a call for all these people that are waiting for something, some inspiring project, to do something. So yeah.
How many spots left? Sorry, how many spots left do you have on your expedition for I think the 4-day one?
I think 5.
Oh, okay. Cool. Well,
yeah, so the boat can only take 12.
Yeah, because everybody's living on the boat for a few days, right?
Yeah, we will live in the boat for a few days. We also stop, of course, in the different areas. We have in the hotspot area, it's Eyjafjörður and up to Grimstad and Skjærvøy. People that have never been in Iceland will be like, what do you mean? What are you talking about? But it's basically the northeast area and up to the Arctic Circle. And it's super exciting because in this area we have like 3 or 4 islands, and they are like, in the summertime, it's full of bird life, whales. The whales come here to feed. The sunsets are eternal. The weather is very nice. So it's definitely very comfortable sailing. It can get tough, so you never know. It's Iceland, but it's, the nature here is absolutely stunning. Like, yeah, you get the feeling that you are alone, just like getting, just if you walk 10 minutes here, you feel like already you are in another planet, in some places. So imagine being in a boat and then like experience these remote islands where it's full of life, and so yeah, we are trying to gain information on the health of these waters to be able to help the creation of the marine protected area and answer questions like, for example, how are the birds doing, what needs more further research, the conditions of the water, salinity, is like the the warming ocean, the species moving, and all these sort of questions. So that's something we will be doing through the Hope expedition, and also hopefully we will get some hydrophones on board. So we're like excited that we can maybe like also see monitor the whales from using different techniques, not only the photo identification, but also like underwater with the hydrophone. So that's something exciting that we are hoping that it can also be added this year as a new thing, like this array of hydrophones. Like until now we have a small one, but we are like more and more trying to improve also our scientific equipment and collaborate with more partners so that we can address more questions about our oceans health.
Awesome. So I think I pitched this question to like the Safina Center fellows before, but I'd like to ask people that are in the thick of conservation work, like if you had one piece of advice for people in regards to conservation, like what would you tell them to do or to think about?
I remember you asked this in the meeting. Yeah. Yeah, just I think I'm gonna answer the same. I think maybe I said this, I don't remember, but I think it's important for people to realize that everything is connected and that your actions matter, and that we sometimes are bigger than we think. We are more than we think, and we have more power than we think. And it's very beautiful to demonstrate this to oneself. And you can do that basically going out into nature in the way you like. It could be in a jungle, it could be in your backyard, it could be sailing. I mean, anything, no? But there is always an opportunity to get passionate about nature. And I think once you are passionate, then it's so easy. It just goes automatically, like to tell everyone about it, to work on something, and to do your contribution, because it's just so naturally coming, no? For example, here in the whale watching, when I work as an environmental advisor, it's very hard to change minds of the people that it's already with a setup, with a mind very, like generally old people, they just have like, this is what's been happening all my life, and this is how I think, and that's it. And it's just so hard to change that mindset. But when you are like already with a mindset, because you love something. I mean, if you love something, you create that mindset. Suddenly, just change it somehow, no? So I think it's important for people to get inspired by nature, to get out there and start thinking also, like what do I know? No, just maybe a little bit like how I reflect to myself, like what I'm good doing, what am I good at, and how can I use it to make a positive contribution to something that matters to me, but that also matters for everyone and for life on earth. And if you ask that question, you may find very good answers. So explore the answers.
Yeah,
that's good.
That's maybe a little bit my advice.
Perfect.
What will be your advice?
What I usually tell people is like put the environment in your decision-making process, whether it's like how you get to work, where you choose to travel, like what you choose to eat. Like think about outside yourself, what's the environmental impact of what you're doing every day. Just being more conscious about like how are you affecting the ecosystem around you.
Yeah, I think because I hang out with Caitlin so much, mine's very similar. Just try to do small things over time and don't try to do something drastic that makes you fall out of it, over and over. Like, just like cutting things out slowly or little by little, trying to do different stuff that help the environment over time. I think that's always super helpful.
Yeah, and I think that's a very good point, because of course we know that, and people get also very frustrated, if I don't know, I am a vegetarian, but I sometimes eat meat, or it's like it's not good enough or something, and I think it's good to see sustainability as a path, as a journey, and as a learning process, because, and we don't have to blame ourselves if we are not perfect, because it's very hard to get there fully, and it's almost impossible in the planet we live, simply because how society is and how immersed
how
we
it's
are in
been set up.
society. So it's just important to realize, and then just do the best we can do, but just be conscious. Yeah,
definitely. So before we wrap up, I just want to ask, how can people like follow along with your work through Ocean Missions and the Hope Spot, and how can they support the work outside the expeditions? Like, do you guys use social media or like have a mailing list? That way people can keep up with what you guys are doing.
Well, we don't have a mail list, and that is very unfortunate, because simply we didn't have time to do this. But I think what works very good for us is the Instagram. I think we had we have very like cool pictures, very high quality photographers coming and helping us with that. So and we are very active in Instagram. So I think that's the best way to, where we are sharing all what we're doing and the news and what's happening. But also in our web, we try to like keep everything updated there as well. And if there is also so the Instagram is Ocean Missions Iceland, and I think that's the main platform we use at the moment. Yeah,
perfect. We'll tag it in our post about the episode too, so people can see it that way also. But yeah, I just want to say thank you so much for joining us. This was awesome, very inspiring talk, and I'm so excited to see what happens with the Hope Spot. This is the challenging part next, but we're very excited for what you are doing. So yeah, and thank you to everyone for listening too. We really appreciate all of you sticking around and listening to us as well.
Yeah, thank you so much for being a guest. And yeah, good luck on all your projects. You
Thank
can
you.
do it.
I need it. Thank you, guys.
And I
Same
did
for you.
look. I do want to say that I did look at the trip, the trip for the Hope spot, and it does look really cool. And they have spots left, so I don't know if I could do it, I would do it. So you should definitely look into it. Again, their website is oceanmissions.org.
Yeah. Thanks, everyone.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.